By listening and or watching this podcast, you agree not to use this podcast as medical advice to treat any medical condition in either yourself or others, including but not limited to patients that you are treating. Consult your own physician for any medical issues that you may be having. Courageous Doctors is a newscast about healthcare topics of concern to everyone. From health and safety tips, to recall notices and medical news. Here's your host, Dr. Barry Prystowsky.
Hello, good day. Welcome to Courageous Doctors, the news show for you and your doctor. It's good to see you again. Happy past holidays and looking forward to hopefully a healthier year. As always, we cover updates in COVID, health regulations with Obamacare, other interesting health news, and I like to end with health and safety tips. So let's begin. The Star Ledger reminds us that our death rate lately is still not only has it maintained itself, but it's increased. We were steady at around 10 to 13 for most of the year. Now we're up into the mid-20s of people dying in New Jersey every day. So the death rate has gone up. The only reassuring news is that our experts in public health are reassuring us that the hospitals, although they're filling up with patients, including flu and other illnesses, that the intensive care units are not overwhelmed as they were 3 years ago. In other words, the death rate's gone up, but the intensive care units are not being filled with COVID deaths. MedPage today reminds us, as I was saying, that children's hospital admissions are going up, not only with COVID, but with flu and RSV. The Washington Post, we have good news. The FDA has authorized the Novavax booster now. Novavax, remember, is our first COVID shot that's not using the new mRNA technology, but it's an old-fashioned shot like all the others we have. And it's now allowed as a booster shot for all of you that have done your primaries. You can do that. And Reuters reminds us that the bivalent boosters for the Pfizer and Moderna are now being given for as young as 6 months old. And that, of course, follows the two primaries, and then you have the yearly boosters. The Journal of American Medical Association, JAMA, in its College of Cardiology, they looked at that Canadian study. Remember, we had the trouble with vaccines with heart damage from myocarditis and pericarditis. They actually looked at all their patients in Canada, and this, of course, is something that we see mainly in the teenagers. Remember that it wasn't the first two primary, it was the second primary shot. They got a first shot, and then a month later got their second shot. Remember, this was before we all began to get boosters. Now most of us are getting boosters. But it was that second primary shot in the teenagers and that were getting pericarditis and myocarditis. But it was very small numbers. They found less than 30 in the country in this study they were doing. So it really was small numbers. And of course, COVID itself can go to the heart and hurt the heart too. But this is the big conversation as a pediatrician that we're all having, because obviously if it's their first two shots, they're all terrified of this heart reaction. But it's reassuring to at least let them know that the numbers are small. Health Day, again, in the Journal of American Medical Association. Good news that in pregnancy, the vaccine given to pregnant women, their antibody levels were not only higher than in themselves against COVID, but was actually higher in the baby. Health Day also said, and this is good news too, that Paxlovid, our first antibiotic, against the COVID, which is the same as like we use Tamiflu for flu, we use Paxlovid for COVID. That, according to a Johns Hopkins study, is safe in pregnancy. Let's see, Washington Post, Nature Medicines had reported that reinfections with COVID are having similar complications and in fact more likely lead to long COVID. That's the big thing, you guys, now is long COVID. It's scary. I mean, it involves almost every symptom you can imagine in the body, and you just feel like hell, and it's horrible, and all kinds of problems. This is a new disease, people, and we're just, learning about it, and all the experts are researching on it. So, but apparently the more you get, I say wear a mask. What the heck? Why take a chance? Because this study in Nature's Med said that the more infections you have with COVID, the more likely you're going to have long COVID. And who wants that? Anyway, Time magazine reported on a JAMA article, Journal of American Medical Association. They looked at 1,000 people with chronic fatigue, and this is the point I was just making. 75% of them had COVID. 25%, obviously, the usual others like mono and flu, and you're chronically fatigued or other diseases like Lyme or what have you. But 75% of these chronic fatigues were all from COVID. So let's put a mask back on. Helio reminds us that the CDC is interestingly redefining that multi-inflammatory system disease in children that looks like the adult COVIDs with the strokes when they died and all, with arrhythmias and problems. And it's very rare in children. We haven't seen it in a while, and we see very few. It's when your patients, I've had some of them go to the ICU for arrhythmias and strokes and things, and it's sort of when the kids act like the adults do when they were dying in the ICU. We don't see it that much, but they're now redefining, saying that you no longer have to have a long duration of fever, and that just having COVID even 60 days prior, because in the kids, unlike to get COVID and go into the ICU in a couple of weeks and almost die, in the kids, this adult-like thing, which they call MISC, multi-inflammatory system, because all the inflammation is named at that, occurs like a month later. Now they're saying that it can occur even 2 months later. So anyway, let's move on to look at some government regulation, Obamacare, another regulation. Let's see, Reuters says that 5.5 million people have signed up with the Obamacare, and that's over 14 million total, but 5.5 million recently signed up. Health payer intelligence, this is important. We talk about this every month. 18 million might lose their Medicaid that was added on after the public health emergency for COVID. So if President Biden gets rid of that in April, according to the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, as many as 3.8 million, 18 million might lose their Medicaid, and 3.8 million might remain uninsured, and 3 million of those children, hopefully, they're going to try to transfer them to another government insurance. Let's see, Rev Cycle Intelligence says that 70 million people, 70 feel they are unprepared to pay healthcare bills due to the recent inflation. And that was a Deloitte study. That's a lot of people. Okay, healthcare finance news. The Center for Medicare that runs the government agency running Medicare, it has a new rule to speed up prior authorization. That's good for my colleagues. It's good for me too, because I deal with Medicaid and CMS handles Medicaid and Medicare. They're using some kind of standard electronic process, HL7FHIR, something like that, for all you computer geeks. And hopefully this will standardize. We spend a lot of time in the office trying to get our patients pre-approval for procedures, so hopefully this will speed it up. Let's see, CNN says that the Mpox now, it's monkeypox, but they call it Mpox. The Mpox emergency will end in January. There were over 29,000 cases reported and over 855,000 vaccines given. And U.S. News said that, this is interesting, we were not warned about the deadly disease in monkeys coming from Cambodia. Okay, so this isn't about monkeypox. The U.S. News points out also, talking about monkeys, that melioidosis, TB, and Ebola. Melioidosis, remember that scare we had? I reported it a year ago, where some of the, solutions you rinse your mouth with were poisoned with this very deadly disease, and it's something you can even find in the ground occasionally, but mostly comes from overseas, but occasionally find it here. It's called melioidosis, and that came over in monkeys being imported into the country, as did tuberculosis and Ebola. I did not know that. Let's see, Washington Post in Scientific Advances said that this is something I think it's common sense. We all know it. Children living in poverty neighborhoods tend to have a high harm rate with lung diseases like asthma and often air pollution. Star Ledger, there's a bill to stop minors from buying diet pills and muscle building pills unless a parent's with them or you have a doctor's script. Interesting. You know how you sell all these over-the-counter diet pills and muscle-building stuff that, a lot of my patients take? Apparently, it's being abused for people with eating disorders to lose weight. And so that's interesting that the Star Ledger is, I don't know if the bill's been signed into law, but it's a proposed bill. Apparently, teenagers are becoming anorexic, trying to get eating disorders, buying these pills. Okay, let's see. Health Day. Here's interesting. 8 out of 10 older adults are afraid of the emergency room costs, and 7%, 1 out of 10, almost 1 out of 10, won't even go to the ER. And that's according to the American Journal of Managed Care. It seems like it never gets better. Lastly, Fox says that, this is interesting, Dr. Mark Siegel's opinion, that he feels that President Biden did not store enough children's medicine. You guys, this is in relation to the fact that we, pediatricians will tell you, we've always had problems in this country with certain supplies that come, anytime there's a problem in another country where they have, a tornado or earthquake or something, and our drugs or IV solutions or plastic products or what have you, medical devices are being produced there. We always get, there's always a drop off. And then with COVID, we had a drop off. Recently, we've had a lot of problems getting our children's antibiotics, for example, amoxicillin and some of the cephalosporins, common drugs, even ibuprofen, Tylenol. Some of the common stuff that we use for infections. For some reason, that's recently hit. I'm not really sure. They say it's because a lot of this stuff's coming from China and India, and there's been problems with, delays in their factories. Anyway, that was the study reported, and this particular doctor was saying that Biden didn't do enough to store it. I don't really know if that's true or not, but we certainly have this shortage. I think the answer is not storing it in the government storepiles. I think the answer is bringing these medicines back to America and making them ourselves. Let's get real.
Don't go away. There's more courageous doctors after these messages.
Hi, I'm Ingrid Burke.
And I'm Gina Unger.
Gina has known Dr. Berry in a professional and personal capacity for many years, and we are thrilled to be in his building. We are psychotherapists, and we offer mental health counseling for ages 12 and up. We do individual, couples, and family counseling. We're also excited to say that we have groups that we have for teenage boys and girls for social skills, anger management, and self-esteem building. If you need to reach us,
check us out at lifeworksnj.com.
Our phone numbers are also listed on that website if you'd like to contact us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Waxed-In is a full-body unisex studio. We specialize in hard wax, which is gentler on the skin. We do all types of waxing from head to toe. You can come in with your friends, so you have the moral support. We have hors d'oeuvres. You do have to have a minimum of 8 people for that party, and you would schedule that. Everybody's looking for a hand to hold and then someone to share the experience with, so you can look that up on our website. We have prenatal waxing. We take a little bit more time with the new moms, and a lot of people will schedule that once they hit their second trimester. We do have a waxing membership. It's set up just like a gym membership, and you come in just like you would go to the gym. It comes out automatically, and you just show up for your wax. We have several memberships for different services. We also have wax packages. The phone number is 973-542-8442. The website is www.thewaxden.com. We have 24-hour online booking.
Come to the Wax Den. We wax it all.
Courageous Doctors continues with Dr. Barry Prystowsky.
Okay, let's move on to other healthcare news. As always, I start with recalls. And remember, my disclaimer on the recalls is I'm giving this news show a month or two after some of these things have occurred. So some of this stuff may have already been corrected. So please just check with your business or distributor and just make sure that these things are safe. The news I'm giving you might be old. Okay, recalls. Fox Consumer Reports found lead and cadmium in Hershey dark chocolate bars. Lead and cadmium. USA said that Sunsprouts alfalfa has salmonella. Sunsprouts alfalfa salmonella. Fox says that Melissa Pastapara has listeria. Melissa Pastapara has listeria. There's also listeria in deli meats and cheeses, and the CDC has reported 1 death and 13 hospitalized, and one of these was in Jersey. I'm not sure what the death was, but Jersey was included. So make sure your deli meats and cheeses are safe. There's salmonella found in Kalerna public lettuce, but that's in Florida. Klerna. If you're getting lettuce in Florida, it's contaminated. CNN, LIDL, Lidl, chocolate advent calendars. Some kind of chocolate calendar. Anyway, it has salmonella, so you'll poison yourself if you eat the calendar. Green Day evoking mushrooms also have listeria. Okay, Fox says this was simply a matter of not listing nuts. Ready Meals chicken salad didn't list nuts if you have nut allergies. And there was mirror-like material, like you look in a mirror, mirror-like material in Tyson, Texas Hill, County Fair HEB ground beef. I don't know what the hell that is, but I certainly don't want to eat meat that's looking back at me. Let's see. This was uninspected, so they didn't say anything was wrong. It just never went through inspection, so be careful. Frozen pot stickers, chicken, pork, JYC Enterprise, whatever that is. Okay, here's one. By Heart Whole Nutrition Baby Formula. I never heard of it. By Heart, BYHERT. Never heard of it. I don't know where it's from, but apparently it's potentially contaminated with the same bacteria that killed those babies from Similac last year. So, I don't know. It says potentially, so I'm going to do with it what you want. Okay, this is an old thing. We all know about it, but the blood pressure medicines, some of them have cancer, nitrosamines potentially causing cancer, and FDA's warning that quinapril with a Q-U-I-N-A-P-R-I-L, and hydrochlorothiazide, a diuretic. Just please check with your cardiologist and pharmacist and make sure your blood pressure pill was not one being recalled. Let's see, New York Times and the ABC News just reminds us. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. A couple more recalls. I'll get to that in a minute. USA Today, oysters uncooked have the norovirus. Norovirus, you guys know what that is. That's when you go on the cruise and 1,000 people are in the toilet getting IVs terribly dehydrated. That's the one that goes through towns and businesses and knocks out families. Very powerful. You can catch it swimming in a lake. Apparently it's in the raw oysters now. FDA says that, what in the world is this? Pepper, pepper's like, the spice pepper. There's a pepper collection gift set that has toxic mold in it. I don't know. Let's see, JAMA. Oh, well, this is old. You guys know this. The Philips, the things we use to breathe with at home, BiPAP, CPAPs. They found the magnets in the mask that is interfering with, metal stuff that's in people's bodies. So in other words, you're using this BiPAP mask and it's altering, implanted stuff like brain stents, aneurysm clips, pacemakers, insulin pumps. That's really scary. I did not know that. I knew we were having trouble with the Philips stuff being recalled because the masks were falling apart or something and causing problems. But I didn't realize there was an effect from the magnets in the mask that were alternating things inside your body if you had an implant. Okay. Fox reports that Wegmans, the store Wegmans, salmonella poisoning in their microgreens, sweet pea leaves, and catgrass, whatever the hell catgrass is. Okay, back to what I was saying. New York Times and ABC reminding us that the flu deaths are now going up. We had 29,000 deaths, 12 of which were children, and one child died right here in New Jersey of the flu. So it's serious, you guys. Get your flu shot, wear your mask. This was interesting. Did you all remember, maybe you saw this, that there was measles? My brother lives out in Ohio. I should have called him about this. There's measles in an unvaccinated Columbus, Ohio daycare. He actually lives close to there. I should have asked him. Most of the kids were very young and unvaccinated, but measles is out there. So, okay, Star Ledger, we report on Legionnaire's disease from time to time. That's really scary. I'm terrified of that disease. That's the one you breathe it in from a water vapor from your water tanks and apartments and things. It was in government buildings last year here in Essex County. It's South Jersey all over. Now the Trenton Waterworks has it. I mean, you could die from this, get a bad pneumonia. This is really scary stuff. It's in Passaic and Bergen County. We got to do better to clean our water tanks and things. Let's see. MedPress says, this is scary. Encephalitis causing Swiss tick. I think this tick was also in China. It's a new tick causing encephalitis. That's the last thing we need. Medical Press says that, this is nice. There's a nasal spray for sleep apnea. A lot of us have that. Wow. So instead of using a CPAP, we should ask our pulmonologist if there's anything. It was reported in the Chest Journal, Flanders University Research. Let's ask our lung doctors if there's what this nasal spray for sleep apnea is. That sounds really interesting. Okay, let's see. CNN, the FDA has approved a monoclonal antibody to slow the onset of type 1 diabetes. Teplizumab. Oh, that's fascinating. So if any of you, I know my patients ask me this all the time, if any of you have a history of type 1 diabetes and you think it runs in the family, you think your children are going to develop it, this antibody will slow the onset. That's fascinating. Okay, let's see. The Hill, Reuters, and NBC all reported, and I mentioned this, you guys, remember, shortage of amoxicillin, our children's drugs, but also a shortage of tracheostomy tubes. All you people at home with kids that are on vents, you may have trouble getting new tubes to fit in when the old ones come out. And the MRIs we all get, we all go for MRIs, brain or whatever. It uses helium, and there's a shortage of the helium. See, we got to start doing this stuff in this country, you guys. Come on, people. Okay, let's get smart. If any of you have any connection with corporations, with, your legislators, just get all over them. Let's start making our own American stuff. This is ridiculous. Okay, I'm going off on a tangent. Let's see. Star Ledger. Remember before we had reported bird flu right here? It was in ducks and geese. in Popcorn Park Animal Refuge, wherever the hell that is. Earlier it was in Vultures in Lafayette County or something. And, lastly, I'll finish with this. This is really scary. Strep throat's very common, especially in the winter and times of flu. Scarlet fever is a form of strep throat. Apparently over in England, some children, I think there were 30 or 40, died of this strep. Strep can be really, really strong, you guys. I've seen some nasty strep infections with brain abscesses. Strep is not fun. It hurts like hell if you've ever had it. And now we see the children in England are dying from it. So let's really stay healthy. Okay, fine. I'm going to end this talk. It was a short talk today. I'm going to end with, I always like to go to health and safety tips, things that are not necessarily medical but are kind of fun. Some of them are pretty scary. Let's start off with one from Fox. Fox is reminding us we still have a baby formula shortage, which I thought would be cleared up, but I guess it's not. ABC News, FDA is warning about infant head sleeping pillows. I'm not sure what those are, but don't use them. Fox says there's a recall on Mockingbird strollers, whatever those are. They're also reminding us that the chemical benzene is in dry shampoos, and this was done by Balashur Lab testing, tested a lot of shampoos, and a lot of them had benzene, so please check your shampoos. Make sure there's no benzene. It can kill you and burn you and do all sort of nasty things. Benzene's an industrial cleaner that you really don't want in your head. Some hand sanitizers, Adams polishes, some hand sanitizers still have methanol. Methanol can also kill you. You really don't want to be breathing it in or washing it on your skin. Let's see, Independent News said that hot water bottle burns are on the increase. Wow, I didn't know anybody was still using hot water bottles. I grew up with those for stomach aches and all, but yeah, they can get pretty hot. And electric blanket burns. I used to use electric blankets many years ago. I didn't know that's still a problem. Let's see, Wall Street Journal is reminding us from a report in JAMA, Journal of American Medical Association, increase in deaths from gun-related injuries. Okay, let's end with a few fun things. Let's see. I got two more scary things. Okay, sorry. CDC says if you have to boil water because there's a broken pipe, even if it's filtered water, it should be boiled for at least 1 minute. CNN says that Target is recalling, what is this? Pillow fort weighted blankets. Apparently it's caused 2 baby deaths. Pillow fort weighted blankets. I really don't know what that is. Okay, finally, a couple fun things to end with. Eating Well says biotin B7 is good for your skin, nails, and hairs. And it is found in eggs, salmon, pork, beef, sunflower seeds, sweet potato, and almonds. So if you're eating those foods anyway, you're getting extra biotin in your skin. Thank you. Milk alternatives. These are things we all use. I drink vegetable milk. Just remind you that macadamia nut milk, if it's a great milk, it's expensive. But if you're watching your weight, it does have a little fat. If you're using almond milk, which I use, make sure it's unsweetened, which mine is. And remember cashews, flaxseed, pea, soy. I still haven't tried pea milk. I'd like to try that. And coconut milk's good, but it has a little fat. Okay, people, this was really great and always enjoy talking to you. We're in the past one holiday, but heading towards others. So let's hope good health. I know here in the office we're swamped. We can hardly see the number of sick kids. It's really horrible. Hospitals, emergency rooms filled. So please wear your mask, stay healthy, get vaccinated, and we'll look forward to talking to you again. Take care, everybody.
Courageous Doctors, Pioneers and Heroes. Executive producers Barry S. Prystowsky, MD. And Patrick M. Marucki. Post-production Patrick M. Marucki, makeup by Lisa McAllister, salon Jimmy Gerards. Music provided by Video Blocks. Special thanks to American Medical Association and New England Journal of Medicine. Visit us on the internet at courageousdoctors.com.